by hiring a Chinese nanny, there's a lot of culture differences, that I have faced with her. And one thing that I have noticed with the Chinese culture.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Chopsticks and Chaos. I am Hind.
And I'm Monica, and today we're going to be talking about raising kids in China.
As you all know, I have a 10 years old daughter who was born and raised here in China.
And I'm a mom raising two boys in China. So this topic is very close to our heart because today we're going to be talking about our experience of how does it feel living in China while raising kids in Guangzhou. So, hey, as you have been in Guangzhou for over a decade, what has been your challenges and how has your experience been raising a daughter in Guangzhou?
Oh, I remember it so clearly. I was in my second year of my PhD, and actually, my some of my classmates they advised me to go back to Egypt as I'm Egyptian and a foreigner living here by myself. It will be a little bit challenging to have my daughter here. But after that, I decided to keep chasing my PhD and having my daughter here. So yeah, here I am.
Wow. That's really a really brave move that you were doing your PhD and you decided to actually birth your daughter in China despite not having your family. So, how was it though? Like, this was 10 years ago. Like, did you face any challenges? Like, what about the hospital 10 years ago?
To be honest, it wasn't a very easy experience. At the same time, it was, there is so many friends and classmates, they've been advising me, and most of them, they advised me to have my daughter at a public hospital because in China, they trust the public government hospital more than the private one. And at that time, I was a little bit hesitating about this decision. But after that, after I went there, I see everything, I just had decided to go with the public government hospital choice.
So you managed to actually, choose a public hospital 10 years ago. I mean, I've heard from a lot of friends that have been in China for over a decade that there was no English speaking doctor or nurses back then. Is that true?
Yeah, there was no translation service. Now they offer translation service, but at that time there was no translation service. But for me, it was okay because I can speak Chinese fluently, and actually that wasn't my problem or my biggest challenge. So for me, the tricky part it was about booking everything in advance because it's a public hospital and it's very busy. There is so many people there, so I should book everything very early. Let's say, for example, when I be in my 7 months of pregnancy, the doctor advised me to start to arrange for my delivery date, which it will be after 2 months. So yeah, that
That's really
yeah.
early. 7 months. You were 7 months and you had to book everything in advance. But why was this? Like, what was the reasoning behind booking everything in advance, especially in a public hospital?
Okay, because they it's a public hospital, they offer a VIP service, but at the same time, as I said, because it's very very busy and there is so many people, because it's in China and 10 years ago, the system it was still one child one family, and as you know, Chinese culture they truly appreciate the pregnancy process, so it was very hard to book everything. You have to start it very, very early. So it was a
Hmm.
little bit stressful, but we still manage it.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. I mean, like, thank God now, at least in China, there are international hospitals and a lot more English speaking doctors than nurses. So I got pregnant in 2024 and 2025, of course, like two under two I have. So it was very important for me. My first priority was when I decided to give birth in China was I needed to make sure that my doctor doctor could speak fluent English, and I wanted to choose an international hospital that was focused on English speaking, hygiene. But again, that comes back to the cost, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I decided to choose an international hospital, like, oh my, it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, thank God for insurance. I remember when I had to go just for a general checkup, it would cost like a minimum of like 300 US dollar just for a minute, just for like just a general checkup. That's not even like the other checks that we need to do. So this is something that I think expats they need to really consider if they're looking at an international hospital, because the cost is very expensive comparing to a local hospital.
Yeah, and actually nowadays, so many of the public hospitals they offer the VIP service. Also, there is translation service, which it means when you go to the hospital, there will be a English speaking translator. Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
will pay a little bit more, but it's still
Yeah.
the service is amazing. Everything is okay, and they can speak very good English, so you will not face any problem with that.
On my personal experience, like being pregnant in China and then giving birth here was a great experience for me. I just felt like my doctor was really great in terms of communicating. And what was important to me was I needed to have a doctor that was calm and didn't make me panic in ways, especially for your first pregnancy. You panic quite a lot on why this is
Exactly.
happening and why that is happening. And my doctor was so calm. And, I even added her on WeChat.
Yeah.
And anytime I had any personal questions or anything that I was feeling, she would reply me within 1 hour. She was there with me throughout the whole 9 months. And I remember I had like a panic attack around like 9 p.m. and my doctor was on a holiday. I think she was like in Bali, and I messaged her and she literally like replied me back. And that's something that I really appreciate, that even though she was on a holiday, she took her personal moment to reply back to me, which was really great. So
Yeah,
my
now,
experience,
yeah, so now here I have to mention something very, very important. This is maybe the big difference between private hospital and the public one. Because if you
yeah.
went to the public hospital, you will never get the doctor WeChat, so there is no personal contact
Ah,
with her. Yeah, so everything it will be weekly. You will go to the hospital weekly or every 2 weeks, and that's it. So you cannot have any personal contact with her. So yeah, this is one of the benefits with the private hospital.
yeah. So I think obviously, the benefits of public and private, every hospital has their own advantage or disadvantage, right? It's just a personal
Mhm.
choice. And also, the midwife was very important. I remember I even had a midwife while giving birth that she could speak fluent English. But after 8 p.m. in the hospital, the midwives couldn't speak English. It was all Chinese.
Yeah.
And that was a challenge for me because I cannot speak Mandarin. So we had to like use Google Translate. And of course, thank God for my husband who can speak fluent Mandarin to help me out in that. But overall, my experience has been great. What really stood me out was the importance of a mother's recovery after giving birth. In the Chinese culture, they really believe that a woman should have complete rest in the first 40 days and they should really be taken care of, right? From cooking them meals, from drinking lots of warm water, from sleeping well as covering yourself, especially your body and your feet.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why there is so many specific centers. They can offer this service for you. You can go there and stay for, let's say, for the 40 days, and they will literally cover everything, giving you food, taking care of the baby, taking care of you, and you will be just sleeping there. That's all what you can do. So yeah.
Yeah. That's honestly amazing to have this, right? Like having hotels where you can, just check in into like a postpartum hotel and be taken care
Yeah.
of for 40 days straight, and all you do is just rest and recover. I think that's such a great quality, I would say, that the Chinese have about this postpartum care.
Yeah, it's very fancy. It's very fancy.
Yeah, very fancy and of course like very expensive.
Yeah.
So, if you have the money, I would say why not, right? So,
Uh,
hey, like now let's talk about, daycare and school in China. How has it been for you when you had to choose a daycare or a school for your daughter?
Actually, daycare in China is very different than other countries because here in China, with the work environment and this stuff, the parents should be working full. Most of the parents are working full-time job, so they should find a solution for their kids. Some of them will go to their parents, which is the grandparents, and they can stay with their kids. And some of them doesn't have this option. So the daycare is the most perfect option for them to leave their kids there. So lately you can see so many daycares in China, very with very modern educational system, just like Montessori system.
So for the daycare in China, is it like they have like half day and full day daycare services here?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. They have half day, full day. The half day it will be from 8 to 12, and then the kids
Mhm.
should have a nap for 2 hours, and from 2 to 5. So literally, it's just like as the same as your work schedule because here in China, the work day is from 8 to 5. Most of the work hours are from 8 to 5. So the daycare
Yeah.
also with the same system to be manageable with the parent's lifestyle. And you can choose half day or a full day.
So when you had to choose your daycare for your daughter, like did you choose like a local daycare or was it like an international daycare? Like how was your experiences on that?
Well, even till now, most of the daycare are Chinese only, with Chinese
Mm.
education and everything. But lately, let's say last 2 or 3 years, a couple of the international schools decided to have a daycare program there. But most of them, all over China, most of the daycare are Chinese-based daycare. So for me at that time, actually, I was my main focus. It was about the quality of the teachers, the quality of the place, the hygiene, what kind of system they are following. Because at early age, the educational system at early age is very important for kids, and it will affect your kids' mental well-being forever. Because the first 3 to 6 years is very important for the kids.
So that makes a lot of sense. For me, right now, if I have to choose a school, a daycare for my son, I will definitely look for an international school. And I know there are a lot more options in Guangzhou today comparing to like, a decade ago. But this again comes back to the environment and what exactly I want for my boys in terms of their education system. Because I know in China, the education system is very intense, right? The priority in China is all about study, 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 study. It's very academic over there. Is that correct? Are you currently facing this for your daughter in her school?
First of all, the daycare culture, comparing with school, culture is totally different because in daycare, which it means before school, it's very modern. They can be very modern. They follow the modern system. They care about the kids' mental health and all of that. But once they, let's say, from 5 years old or 4 years old, which is kindergarten,
Yeah.
there is a big difference between international system and the public system. There is a very big gap between both of them.
Okay. And your daughter, so is she currently in a public school or an international school?
So for foreigners family, there is only two options: international school or bilingual school. Because the public school system is designed for the Chinese students, which it means
Okay.
if your kids attend a public school, he should be very fluent in Chinese, just like the Chinese student. It will be just like his first language. And I mean fluent in Chinese that he will be taught math, physics, science, everything in Chinese. Only English subject will be in English, but everything else will be in Chinese. And also they should follow the system as the Chinese kids, so they should also be learning Chinese politics and this stuff. So that's why many foreigners prefer international and bilingual school more than the public school. Okay, so Chinese public school is very intense, and the students they have to study for a very very long time. Literally, there is no holiday. During weekend, it will they will increase their homework, and they start every day from 7 till 5, right? Because they woke up early and then go to school and then will finish by 5. But after 5, they still have to attend some self-learning class, so that's why it's very, very hard for foreigners to go to public school. And at the same time, there is so many requirements for foreigners to attend public school. The first one is the kids should be fluent Chinese. And to attend the public school, you will they will give you a test, and you should get a high score, and you should be very fluent in Chinese, and that's because all of the subjects are taught in Chinese language, Mandarin, and only the English subject will be in English. But math, science, psychology, anything else, it will be taught in Chinese. And also at the same time, the foreigners kids have to learn a lot about the Chinese politics and Chinese history, which it will be a little bit hard for a foreigner to attend a public school here in China. They should got some special permission from the educational bureau, and they will get this permission only depending on two things. First, the availability at school, if that school has space for him or not. And the second thing is their Chinese level. It's high level or not, because as I said before, all the subjects and everything is taught in Chinese. So yeah, it's so let's say foreigners kids can go to public school. Yeah, they can, but it's impossible to be honest. That's why so many
Yeah.
foreigners prefer to attend bilingual and international school in China.
That is very intense, and I feel really sad for the kids that they have to go through this because, you know, doing studying from 7:30 all the way to 5 p.m. and then again attending classes to 9 p.m. is just way too intense for children to go through. And I feel that's why in the in the Chinese culture it's all about, you know, study, 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 academics, academics, academics. And maybe that's why the Chinese culture is all about work, 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 right? So it's just for me that doesn't work in, you know, my culture. I think for raising kids, you know, they need to have their play and free time. You know, they need to explore their world, explore their mind, rather than just doing intense study. It's just too much. Like I have seen schools in China until like 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Like students are still studying over there. It's just honestly very crazy and for me.
Because the Chinese educational system, it's all built on they are trying to qualify their kids to the Gaokao exam, which is the Chinese National Entrance University exam. So this Gaokao, this exam can decide which university you will attend and even what major you are gonna have. So that's why this is very, very important. And in China, they start very early to get ready for this exam. So that's why we see it's very, very long hours, day, very intense. They are preparing their kids since kindergarten till high school for the Gaokao exam. So literally, when you decide to let a foreign kid go to public school, it's something like you are letting them join the Olympic marathon without any training. So it will be very unfair for the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like a marathon for the kids, honestly, in Chinese public schools. But again, this again goes back to their own culture.
And yeah, that's why also last year Chinese government's trying their best to change these rules, to change this mindset. But the problem is with the teachers and parents' mindset. Even when they, let's say, they cancel all the exam for from first grade till third grade, okay? Because they want to reduce the pressure on the students. But at the same time, because the parents and teacher, everyone want the kids to be ready for the Gaokao, they still have the same pressure, the same intent, everything. So yeah, maybe after 10 or 15 or 20 years, their mindset will be more flexible and they can accept that Gaokao is not your final destination and you still have a lot of chances to decide your future by yourself.
Now, let's talk about your daughter. How has it been for her to make friends in school as a foreign kid?
Actually, because she was born and raised here, so this is not a challenge for her. For her,
Hmm.
she feel like she can speak the language. Her Chinese is very perfect, so deep down there is a bit conflict, and that conflict is came from other kids, other people, when they asked her, where are you from and which country do you love more, Egypt or China? So for her, she loved China. In China she have her friends, her school, her social life, literally, here in China. But in Egypt, it's her family, it's her roots. So for her, China and Egypt is equally the same. But for other people, when they asked her, that make her a little bit confused, and she even can mention to me, I don't know what should I say.
So, I'm sure it must be confusing for your daughter, right? Because a lot of kids, they don't know where they belong, especially being a foreigner. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, there is so many kids facing the same problem. When you are born and raised in a foreign country, for you, you truly don't know where you belong. Your social life, your everything, your current life in this country, but at the same time, your roots and your big family in another country, you go visit them couple of months every year, but most of the year you are living at the current country. So they been a little bit confused. But now I believe because now she's 10, she's kinda used to it and she's totally accept the situation. Yeah, I'm Egyptian. I can speak fluent Chinese. My friends and small family is living here in China, but at the same time, my roots and my biggest family is living somewhere else, which is Egypt. And also, I can see this very clearly with her friends as well because they have the same situation. But I'm not sure about you because your baby is still too young for that.
Yeah. My babies are still small.
Mm-hmm.
I have not faced this yet, but,
Yeah.
I'm sure in the coming years when I start looking for daycares and school, I will have more to share about this.
Yeah, sure. So we are waiting for you next year to share your
Okay.
experience with us.
So what about like everyday things, by raising a daughter in China, like, making friends? What about birthday parties? How has that been for you? Because I know like the Chinese culture is very different in terms of birthday parties comparing to, your culture.
Okay, actually, that was kind of a culture shock for me at the beginning because here in China, as normal, the kids will give his classmates gifts because of his birthday. But in my country, it's my birthday, so I'm the one who will receive the gift. So for me, when the teacher, let's say, when the teacher asked me when is her birthday, we wanna have a birthday party and this stuff, and then she asked me to bring some gifts for her classmates. So I was just like, why? You are the one who should get her. But after that, I understand the situation because it's all about you let your kids share happiness and share kindness with his friends and the classmates. So now I believe it's very interesting, and
Yeah.
for me, I am very happy every birthday because I should be think about what kind of cute small gifts that we will give to her classmates.
So basically, you would say it's like a return gift.
No, they will
It's
not.
like a return gift, right?
No, they will not gift her anything. You are the one who will prepare a gift for them.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, you are the one who will prepare. You are the no. It's not a return gift. No, you are the one who will prepare a gift, cake party. You will prepare a party and small gifts for her classmates.
So the birthday girl doesn't get anything. No gifts.
If one of her best friends or something wanna do that, they can do that. But no.
Yeah, the birthday girl should be the one receiving gifts.
Yeah, that's why I wanna share this with the world. I've been buying gifts for
Oh
six
my
years
God. Okay.
now.
That is really funny. Okay.
Okay.
So then continue. Yeah, tell us more about it.
Okay. Actually, here in China, it's a little bit different, especially the birthday. Okay, let's say in my country, it's your birthday, so it's normal. You are the one who will receive gifts from your classmates, right? But
Yeah.
here there is so many schools, so many kindergarten will ask the parents to prepare small gifts for their kids' classmates because it's his
Mm.
birthday. So every year we will prepare something for her classmates and we will prepare a cake and everything and celebrate the birthday with them. And somehow, some way, I feel it's very interesting because it's let the kids go out from the self-centered and sharing happiness and kindness with his classmates. So it's kind of different, but it's cool at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, do you
It's
like that?
interesting to know, right? Like, everybody comes together and, celebrates your daughter with cake and they get presents. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it's all about happiness and kindness during your
Yeah, I
birthday.
wish I wish if that happened when I was young, so I can
Yeah,
get
right?
so I can get a lot of gifts from my classmates.
I agree, right? Who doesn't love gifts?
Yeah.
So now, as we both, are raising our kids in Guangzhou, I think one of the most important uh, parenting culture in China is nannies, right? We see, nannies everywhere in Guangzhou. It's such a big part of the culture, and we call them IEs, right? They're
Yeah,
called
the
our
eyes.
IEs.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, for me, without my nannies, I would not be able to do it, handling two kids like two under two. So recently, I had to hire a nanny for my son. And my first priority for hiring a nanny was like, oh, the nanny needs to be able to speak English. I was so adamant in that. And we did interview a few nannies who could speak English, but oh my God, they were so expensive that it was ridiculous that it didn't really fit our budget. So we decided, okay, now we need to hire a nanny that is trustworthy and, who can really take good care of my son. And thankfully, we got a great nanny who's still working with us. But again, she is not able to speak English and I'm not able to speak Mandarin, right? So we're like, learning from each other, which is a good part. I feel like, she wants to learn from me English and I'm learning from her as well. That said, by hiring a Chinese nanny, there's a lot of culture differences, that I have faced with her. And one thing that I have noticed with the Chinese culture is like they are very fast with everything. Like very quick, very fast. Like, oh, let's do this. Let's like they want to finish everything really quickly. And for me, I'm like, calm down. You don't need to rush into doing things with my child. Just relax, just chill.
You're
We're not
killing
running
her.
away. So that has been like a big culture shock for me about like, doing everything like really like just rushing for everything, which honestly I don't like that. But again, this goes back on who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
But how has the experience been for you?
And actually, okay, so it's all regarding the personality itself, I believe. I'm totally agree with you about the nanny's culture here in China, and especially it increased during COVID. Because at that time during COVID, we've been in quarantine. There is so many schools, kindergarten shut down. So your kids have to stay at home, and at the same time you have to go to work. So it was the only solution to hire a nanny. At that time, it was
Yeah.
very, very, very expensive, but at the same time, you should be willing to pay whatever you have to pay to go and to go attend your work, and at the same time to be very sure about your kids' safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I tried a couple of them, but one of them lasts for me for, let's say, 6 years now. And she's very, very kind, she's very, very helpful, and she's very slow. She's very faithful, and
That's so good.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
and you know what the funny thing is? Because there is so many nannies who will take care of your kids, they actually after they actually are working moms. They've been a working mom. They have very, very nice job, but after retirement, they don't want to stay at home. So they try to find
Mm,
a very nice job, a very nice job they can go attend, and at the same time they can make money. So my nanny,
yeah.
she's a very rich lady, to be honest, and she's very, very gentle.
Yeah.
She's very kind, and she's been with me for almost 6 years now. And all what she does, she only take care of my daughter and give
Yeah.
her food.
That's great. I think it's very important, to hire a nanny that we trust because, we're also building a relationship with her and she is building a relationship with our child. So I think my nanny needs to learn from your nanny and how to be slow because I'm still teaching her how to be slow and how to be gentle.
Actually, I'm totally trusting my nanny because, as I said, she's been with me for 6 years now. So sometimes I can, because sometimes I have some business trip or stuff for 2 or 3 days. So I'm totally okay to let her stay with my daughter. And actually, to be honest, my daughter treating her as a grandparent as well. So I believe it's very, very important about the communication between the kids and the nanny to build a very strong relationship.
Yeah. No, I completely agree on that. It's very important for us also to have that trust with our nanny, to build a good relationship with them as well, because they are going to be taking care of our kid,
Yeah.
and because of them, we are actually surviving motherhood in China.
Yeah,
So I ended up hiring my nanny through expat groups, but I believe in China there are a lot of agencies as well that can refer nannies to, right?
yeah, yeah, there is so many agencies. You can go to them and tell them your requirement, everything, and your expecting salary, the salary range, even
Yeah.
everything, and then they will help you to they will help and then they will help you to find a suitable nanny for yourself. And we tried so many of them, me and a
Yeah.
couple of friends. But the only problem it will be the language because most of the nannies they cannot speak fluent English unless they had work experience with foreigners before.
So one thing I really like, by having a local nanny is my son is, exposed to a lot of outdoor parks. And that's something that I absolutely love about Guangzhou is like their parks. There are so many beautiful parks all around us, right? Which is just so good for my kids to be around nature, especially on a daily basis. So my nanny actually, takes my son every day, and during in the morning and in the evening to different parks. And this way, he's exposed, with, Chinese kids, and, he tends to attend like, some Chinese classes, some Chinese sensory activities as well. And this is all because of my nanny. So that's something that, I really appreciate from her.
Yeah, because I believe it literally will help your kids to be more into Chinese society. Also will expand his social life, and he will, because
Yeah.
with the nanny normally, because every morning, let's say Sunday morning, Saturday morning, when you go to the park or whatever, you will meet a lot of nannies with the babies, and they are speaking, chatting with each other, and the kids there are
Yeah.
playing together. So I believe this is very, very important for our kids as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And talking about like, parks in Guangzhou, right? Like I have been exploring a lot of different parks
Yeah.
in China, right? And some of it is like, we have like the kangaroo park, we have different kind of animal parks. We have like so much nature in Guangzhou, which is so fascinating to see that I don't think like people are aware of this. And one thing that people always think about China is like, oh my God, the pollution. But since I've been living in Guangzhou, there has been zero pollution. I think it is the air quality has been so good that I get so happy, especially when I go out, when I tend to walk around in Guangzhou. I take my cycle and, cycle around. It's just been so wonderful. And that's what I want for my kids. I want my kids to be exposed to as much as nature as possible, and that's where I can get it right now in Guangzhou.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the things that I truly love about Guangzhou, and one of the main reasons that I'm staying here till now, which is the environment. Even in Guangzhou, they call Guangzhou the floral city because they have so many beautiful gardens, flowers, and it's really so amazing and beautiful.
So, okay, so I think it's been such a great conversation, about us talking about being mothers in China, but having completely different experience. You have a 10-year-old and I have two boys, two under two, right? There's still so much we can discuss in today's topic, being mothers. But one thing I wanted to ask you, before we end today is like, what is the most Chinese thing your daughter has picked up since being part of a Chinese culture?
Chinese food. She's truly into Chinese food. Sometimes I can ask her, "What do you want to have for lunch?" And then she will say, "Dumplings." So, yeah.
Oh, I love dumplings. Oh my God. Chinese food are amazing, but there is like the weird stuff too. I think this is a great conversation for us to talk in our next podcast.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Awesome. So thank you guys for joining us for today's podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on IG and YouTube.
And if you guys have any questions or would like to know more about China, you're more than welcome to send us a message. Or if you wanna know more about a certain topic, you can let us know and we'll be more than happy to share our experience.
Okay, bye bye.